So welcome, namaste. I'm Crystal and I'll be guiding you through a yin practice during this session. And today it'd be helpful if you had a bolster or something that seems like a bolster, a couple of blocks and a blanket or something to sit on. And if you have something that's a weight, it could be a folded blanket, it could be a bag of rice, just something that you could gather for the practice. And just having a weight sometimes is nice when we're in a long held pose. And it sounds like it's thundering, so maybe we'll have some thunder during this practice. And those of you who are tuning in later, you can join in a little thunder. So we're going to begin by stretching this deep band of fascia that we find on the bottom of our feet. And it takes quite a bit to stretch it. And we do this practice to help prevent plantar fasciitis and also as a preventive or as a therapy if you've had it. So hopefully we're doing it as a preventative. If you have any injuries or uncomfortableness in your feet, just be very mindful and maybe choose a pose that will work a little bit better for you. Let me show you a couple options. One is to come on to your heels. And so you spread the toes far apart so you can see you get a really deep stretch here. And you're welcome to have a prop here to help support you, to give a little cushioning between your heels and your seat. The second option is a little milder. It's the same beginning of the pose, and then you can fold your body forward and relax that way. So there's not quite as much pressure, but you're still getting benefit. And then the final pose I'll offer you is a toe squat. So in this particular pose, you lift the knees and you might have your hands resting on the mat or on some blocks or some other props. So find your way into the pose that you choose. And let's take a cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And do your very best to soften into your body. This stretch that we're doing can be very intense. It might not be real comfortable. So just try to soften everywhere else in your body and let the stress be where we want it to be. Because that band of fascia is so thick, it takes a lot to stretch it. So it's probably why you're feeling some uncomfortableness. Just keep your jaws relaxed and take a cleansing breath whenever you need one. That's it. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Also, I'll be holding this pose for you and with you for a designated time that I've set. If you choose to come out before then, that's always up to you. If you choose to come out and come back in, that's also your option. Really pay attention to your body and your practice, whatever type of yoga you're doing. The longer we stay in this pose, often a little bit better we feel, because just like when our muscles stretch, we're stretching the fascia and it becomes more flexible and more fluid. So up to a point. This practice should not be done more than 3 minutes. So that's your warning. If you're practicing on your own at home, don't hold for more than 3 minutes. It won't do you any good. But just keep breathing. Invite yourself into your practice. Letting go of everything else and just being here, being with yourself and for yourself during this practice. Taken the time to tune in live, or you've taken the time if you're watching this in the archives. So make it work for you. Let it be a beautiful practice for you, getting all the nourishment that you can. We're going to hold for just a few more breaths. Unless you've decided to come out, that's always up to you. Good. Let's go ahead and release. Nice work. Not real comfortable for me either, but I've been doing this practice for 17 years, and I believe that it's really helped my feet. So make your way into tabletop, and let's find some tapping. Tapping on the tops of the feet to help get rid of some of the tension or pressure. Good. And since we're here in tabletop, just begin to move your body organically. How would you like to move and see what's going on in your body right now? Side flexion is nice. Gazing over the right shoulder, bringing the right hip closer to the shoulder, shortening the waist. Inhaling to center, and then doing the same on the other side, on the left side. So you feel one side of your waist shortens and the other side lengthens. Just one option. You can find some circles with the hips. Just do what comes natural to you. I'm just giving you suggestions. Inhaling, lifting up, exhaling, sending your seat back. Maybe some cat-cow movements. Opening the heart, dropping the belly in cow, rounding into cat. Whatever feels good. You might stretch one leg out long, be light in your hands. Maybe you stretch the other leg out long. You're light in your body, light on the wrists. Take a few more moments to find your way, inviting your body to open evenly. So if you're doing something on one side, take time to also do it on the other and feel balanced. When you get to that point, then make your way into a seat. Sitting with your hips higher than your knees, so maybe sitting on a folded blanket or a cushion or a block. And we'll just spend a little bit more time with these feet. They had a really deep stretch, so form some knuckles and begin to just tap up and down the whole length of one of your feet, from the roots of the toes all the way to the heel. And then you can take your thumbs and work into the roots of the toes. You might find some soreness. You might find something else here. Our feet do so much work for us. So this is sort of a little treat for the feet. You can take your thumbs all the way down the center of the foot toward the top of the heel, all the way back up again. Right in the center of our foot, we have something called a marma point. So you might just pause there and press in, igniting the energy of that point. Wiggling the toes, so we move into the joints of the toes. And then when you're finished, take your 3 middle fingers from the toe tips to the heel and just sweep. 3 sweeps. And then we'll find our other foot. And we'll begin with tapping of the knuckles up and down, really getting in there and loosening up any tightness or any stagnancy. And then your thumbs can go up and down the center line, just like the thumbprints. Roots of the toes. Massaging your feet is a really good practice to do right before bed. Even if you take just a minute, it is taught in Ayurveda and yoga that it might help induce sleep or give us more restful sleep. Again, there's a marma point in the center of the sole of this foot as well, so maybe press in. And wiggling the toes. When you're finished with this foot, take those 3 sweeps. This signifies releasing what's no longer needed. Good. And then make your way into a sustainable seat, a place where you can be for several minutes. And we're going to hold Sandhi Mudra during our sitting. On the right hand, bring the tip of your ring finger to the tip of your thumb. Rest the palm up. On your left hand, bring the tip of the middle finger to the tip of the thumb and rest your palm up. Settle into your seat. Make sure you're really comfortable, grounding down in your seat, lifting nice and tall in your torso. Let's move the jaws around. Inviting any tension or stress in the jaws to let go. And then just gently resting the jaws. Please feel free to close your eyes or find a gazeless gaze and settle in to your seat. Invite yourself into this seat and into your practice. Just begin to notice your breath, observing how your body's breathing. Perhaps how the breath feels, that nourishment, life force, as it moves in through the nostrils, and noticing how it feels as the out-breath moves out. Just being in tune. And no need to change the breath, no need to change or control. Just let it be. Yoga and Ayurveda philosophies say that the breath is the bridge to everything. To our mind, to our bodies, to our health. Connect with that bridge of your breath. And just notice, see if you can find these qualities in your breath. Don't worry if you don't, but see if you can. The breath is quiet. The breath is slow. Again, inviting the mind to slow down, being less busy. Maybe the inhale and the exhale are of equal length. And perhaps there's consistency in your breath. No bumps or pauses, just a nice linear or circular type of breath. Just see if you can find those qualities. The pattern of our breath invites the mind to follow. The mind will follow the pattern of the breath. So you might already be noticing some shifts or changes. If you would like to bring an intention into your practice for this session, something specifically for the practice or something just that's on your heart that you'd like to ride with you during the session, say it to yourself now. Maybe even use your name. Give it a little more intention. The mudra we're holding is called Sandhi Mudra, and it's the mudra of the meeting place. And the meeting place in our body is our joints. So this is sending healthy energy to our joints. And when we practice yin, we stretch the fascia, the deep connective tissue, around the joints, around the muscles, our organs. So everything working together to kind of open up and loosen up the body, getting rid of some tightness, hopefully. Go ahead and open your eyes when you're ready. And let's release the mudra, wiggling into the fingers. And you can release your seat. Let's extend the legs. And we'll find some bouncing of the legs. And then to help stimulate our immune system and to move energy, to move prana, we'll go from the outside of our hips, either tapping or rubbing all the way up the inseam. So along the outside edges and up the inseam. 3 times. Good. And then we'll do the same with our arms. Start at the outside, rub or tap. Again, moving energy and stimulating our immunity system. Other arm. And then around the armpits, rubbing, gentle squeezes around the breasts. We have a lot of lymph nodes there. Their job is to carry toxins out of the body. So tell your body to do that. Get rid of these toxins. Let me be healthy and have strong immunity. Good. So let's get set up for our first long held pose tonight. We're going to work on child's pose, a supported child's pose, which is both a yin pose and a restore pose. And before we actually get set up for that, I'd like to find a little opening, a little movement in the body. So come back to tabletop pose. Lining up your hands underneath the wrists underneath the elbows, elbows underneath the shoulders, and knees right underneath the hips. Take a look over at your right hand, and then inhale, extend that arm all the way to the ceiling. Let your gaze follow if that feels okay for your neck. And we're going to thread underneath, but not to the floor. We're just reaching. Getting a nice deep stretch in that fascia around the right shoulder joint and shoulder. On an inhale, lift and extend to the ceiling. Move your gaze if possible. And one more time, we're going to reach, 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 and extend. One more time, lift up to the ceiling. And this time, come all the way down onto the floor or onto one of your props, a blanket or a bolster. Rest the right side of your head down if you can, and then extend your left fingers forward. So the palm is off the floor, the fingertips are resting on the floor, and we're getting some stimulation again under that armpit. You can stay here, or you're welcome to lift the left arm and maybe bend that arm behind your back, coming into a little deeper twist, maybe looking up over your left shoulder. Relax your jaws. Just notice what you're feeling in your body. Where are you feeling the twist? What are you feeling in the shoulder? We're stretching the side of the neck. If you've taken the bind, lift your left arm to the ceiling. Bring the left palm down. Press in. And one more time, we'll send that right arm all the way up to the ceiling, opening up, and then back to our tabletop pose. So find your good alignment in your tabletop. This time, gaze over at the left hand, and then inhale and lift and extend all the way to the ceiling. Let the gaze follow, and then we'll reach underneath. We're threading, but we're staying above the floor. Reach as far as you can. Inhale, lift your left arm to the ceiling, open up. Look up if possible. On your exhale, again, we'll find that thread above the floor. Reaching, getting into all that connective tissue around the shoulder blade, the shoulder joint. This time we'll lift up again and all the way down onto the floor. Thread the needle. Onto your left side or resting your body on any prop that's comfortable. Extend your right fingers forward, just reaching forward toward the top of your mat. Palm is lifted, so you're just on your fingertips. Get a nice stretch here. You can stay here, or you might choose to inhale that arm to the ceiling, and then maybe find a half bind around the back, kind of opening up that right shoulder, maybe gazing up, relaxing your jaws. And again, just being in tune to your body and what this pose is offering you. What do you feel? You can release your right arm, send it to the ceiling if you were in a bind. Bring the palm down, and then inhale. Left arm goes up to the ceiling one more time, and then we come all the way back down to tabletop. Now you can relax out of that pose and gather a block and your bolster. Now we'll get set up for our first pose, which is supported child's pose. So your block might come onto medium height. And then we're going to make an incline with the bolster. If you have a weight or a folded blanket or something, you might just set that off to the side for now. Come up to the bolster and send the knees really wide. And we'll sit back toward the heels. But then we're going to thread our arms underneath the bolster, bringing the left ear down first. So your body weight should be on the bolster. Your hips are going back, and make yourself as comfortable as possible. If you're using a weight, it could go right over your sacrum. This gives you a little more security and stability, maybe a little more comfort. You can spread your knees as wide as you like, and then just settle in. If it feels like too much to have your head turned, then rest your forehead, tucking the chin in toward the chest. And then release all of your muscle engagement, your muscle effort, and just sink into this supported child's pose. Resting or opening fascia, relax your jaws. All of our poses, we're in them for at least 2 minutes. And I will be guiding you when we're halfway so you can turn your head to the other side if you so choose to do that. Softening wherever you're able and making sure you feel comfortable. If you need to help the mind be less busy, offer it a tool. Maybe in your mind's eye you see a beautiful nature scene, a place that you love. Or perhaps you just offer a word, health, peace, joy, whatever resonates with you. Offer to your mind to give it a focus. Just letting you know that I'm still here and I'm inviting you to continue to rest in your supported Balasana child's pose, just as you are. Softening, stretching deep into the body, into the fascia, the connective tissue. mind wanders away, if and when it does, pull it back. Give it a focus. If you have had your head turned to one side, use an inhale to just gently lift your head and then turn the other ear down, the right side. And you might discover that this doesn't feel quite good in your body. If not, then bring your forehead to center. Continue to settle in, soften, come back into stillness. The jaws nice and fluid, nice and released. Continuing to soften, go deeper into yourself. Coming into the last few rounds of breath here in your supported child's pose. So take from this pose what would nourish you. You might notice how your hip joints are feeling, or how your low back might be opening up, stretching. Shoulder blades should be far apart on your back, offering some stretching of the fascia around the shoulder blades. Just be in tune, and it's always okay to tell your body what to give you or to ask your body. You can ask the pose. If you don't know what you need, ask the pose to give you what you need. What do I need? Nourish me as I finish this pose. If your head has been turned to center, to one side, everyone bring your forehead back to center. And then walk your palms underneath your shoulders and lift up out of your hips. Just come back into tabletop. You might just straddle your props, leaving them as they are, and find some movement here, just like we did at the beginning of the practice. Maybe moving your body to even out or to help ignite some of that deep static pose you've been holding. You might take some cow-cat movements, lifting the heart, the eyes, the chin, dropping the belly, and then rounding into the spine, chin to chest, really pressing up into the navel, up into the shoulders. Perhaps a few of those. You might want to circle your hip joints, getting some movement there. all at your own time, all nice and gentle. Find a little bit more movement, and then we'll get set up for our next pose. So getting set up for the next pose, your bolster is already on a block, and so you can leave that just as it is. You might keep your weight handy. If you have a blanket, let it fold out to about 3 feet wide. And then we're going to fold it over about 4 inches. More of a flat fold instead of a round fold. But either one will work. If you have another blanket or a towel, you could roll it up to put under your neck. The next pose is a restore pose. And we're going to come up, bringing the sacrum right up to the edge of the bolster. And I'll give you a couple options here for your legs. One is that you can have your legs straight, and then you can take this blanket roll under your knees to help support your low back. Or you can come into kind of an extended Baddha Konasana or butterfly, the soles of the feet together with the knees wide. Then your blanket, I'm just going to turn to show you. Your blanket comes over your ankles and tucks up underneath your shins so your legs are fully supported. There's not any hanging or any stress. You could also put blocks or roll towels or something else underneath. So finding where you'd like your legs to be, getting set up with your blanket noodle, and then when you're ready, just mindfully guiding yourself back over your bolster. If you have a blanket or towel, you have just a gentle roll that fits into your cervical spine. Palms are turned up, and your arms might be comfortable to be on the floor alongside of you, or you might be supporting your arms on something that you have available near you. Blocks, towels, whatever is comfortable and accessible. And let's invite ourselves into this pose with a cleansing breath. So inhale through the nose, long and deep, fill up. Exhale through the mouth. Let that exhale soften your body. Take another cleansing breath if you like. And just soften into your props, releasing your weight, releasing any effort. You can close your eyes, keep some space between the layers of teeth, and just know that you'll be here for several minutes to rest and restore energy in your body. Mixing a little restore in with the yin for this session. It's been a hot day. It's good to find some extra rest. Sometimes we have to really tell ourselves or invite ourselves to rest. You need to do that, do it. And then sink in. I'll check in just every once in a while to let you know I'm here. Plenty of time to rest. Just let your body breathe as it chooses. might ask yourself if there's anywhere else you can soften or release effort. Inviting you to just continue to rest and restore in your pose. No effort. As you continue to rest in this pose, just keep your stillness, but I will invite you to bring your awareness to the heart center. Your heart is lifted. The heart center is another energy center in the body. It is the center of empathy, love, compassion. It's where we receive those things and also where we release them or give them. There's a color of beautiful emerald green associated with the heart chakra. So I will invite you to just envision a tiny green dot of light right at the center of the heart. As you inhale, that dot expands and fills your whole torso with this beautiful emerald green heart chakra light. As you exhale, it comes back to that tiny dot. So as you're deepening your breath just slightly, you're feeling the expansion of your body and you're expanding this light, this color, and then bringing it back, expanding and contracting, physically and energetically. So be in whatever experience you choose to be in with this offering. We'll take a few more rounds of breath here. then you choose to either let your torso be filled with green or let it come back to a tiny dot. And then let your body breathe as it will, as it chooses. Begin to just move your head side to side, loosening up the neck. If your hands are in the butterfly pose, your legs in the butterfly, you might reach down and just help set the knees up. And everyone can just bring your feet to the floor, knees bent toward the ceiling. When you're ready, mindfully come all the way off from your props into fetal position, either side, and just stay there for a few breaths. Just noticing any effects from this restorative pose. Maybe there's something obvious that it brought to you. Notice the state of your mind. Maybe you're feeling a little more balanced. Just notice where you are at and if there have been any shifts. But then use your hands and inhale to come all the way back up toward a seat. And just find a comfortable place to sit. We'll work on the shoulders and the neck just a little bit more. So as you inhale, turn your head over to the right and let your right ear drop toward the right shoulder. You might extend your left fingers out onto your mat for a little deeper stretch. Jaws are fluid, space between the teeth. And notice what you feel as the left side of your neck tries to find some opening, some stretching. Bring your hand back in and lift your head up to center. Inhale, this time turn your head to the left, and as you exhale, tip your left ear toward the shoulder. Maybe your right fingertips come out onto your mat. Relax your jaws, adjust your chin as needed so you can feel comfortable and also feel this opening beginning to happen. Connect with what you feel. You might feel some tightness in the neck. Ask it to open. Holding the stretch a few more moments. Bring the hand in and bring your head back up to center. We'll turn our head to the right again. Drop the chin down, and this time let the chin travel across the collarbone all the way over to the other side. And then we'll take that journey again, half circle, moving on the exhale. And again, slowly, mindfully, getting a stretch in the back of the neck. And one more time. And then bring your head to center. Let's lift the chin up. Think of opening the throat, another energy center, the throat chakra. Bring your bottom lip over the top lip. Feel the intensity of stretching those muscles and the fascia. And also energetically, we're adding some opening to the throat chakra. This is the energy center where we speak our truth or we don't. It's our center of communication, outward, verbal communication to the world, to others. Maybe there's something that needs to be released there. Release your bottom lip and bring your head back to center. Let's inhale the arms out from the shoulders, and we're just going to rotate the palms back and then forward. Back and forward. Getting a little deeper into the joints right here at the top of the arms. And let's just float the arms down. Let's swim the shoulders back and swim the shoulders forward. And again, swim the shoulders back. Good. Then go ahead and clear your mat. And you might have a bolster or a block handy. And then make your way onto your back. So coming all the way down, feet will be on the floor and the knees are up. Bring your heels up toward your sit bones. And then kind of roll your pelvic bowl toward your heels. You should be able to let a hand come underneath your low back. There should be a curve there. And now exhale and press your whole back body into your mat. Now you can't fit your hand under there. So this is called pelvic tilt. We're going to take a few of these. On your inhale, tilt your pelvis forward toward your heels. On your exhale, press your whole back body into the mat. And continue with this movement, moving with your breath. You might even place your hands right over the front hip bone, part of that pelvic bowl. This helps to find some comfort and stretching of the fascia and also the muscle called the psoas muscle. That muscle, if it's overused or underused, could cause some discomfort in the low back. A couple more. Good way to stretch. And then keep your body pressed into the mat. We're going to bring the right knee in toward the chest and hug it in. Circle the ankle if you like. Always good to keep the joints active. And then send that leg up to the ceiling. And let's point and flex. Point and flex. Feel into the muscles. Now keep the leg, the foot flexed, and we're going to take that ankle over top of the other thigh, coming into a supine pigeon, pigeon on your back. You can stay just as you are right here. You might choose to put a prop underneath your left foot and bring it in a little closer toward your torso for support. You might choose to bring your hands underneath a hamstring or across the front shin and just hold the legs in. You're taking the effort out of your shoulders, your arms, and your jaws. So find the position you'd like to be in for the next several minutes. You could even put a blanket over your legs to help hold them in, just the weight of the blanket. So rest into your pose, relax your jaws, soften every other part of your body as possible. We know yin works better, it's more beneficial to us when there's no muscle engagement. We take away the effort and just sink into stillness and quiet. Continuing to soften and offering your mind to focus if needed, so you can stay with yourself with your practice. Even though your body's in stillness, your body might be saying something to you. What is the pose telling you? Can you feel where some opening is trying to happen, where some fascia is trying to stretch or release? So take just a few more rounds of breath here. Decide on your supine twist. So take from it what you need. And let's begin a release. If your left foot has been lifted onto a prop or off the floor, go ahead and bring it back down to the floor and send your right leg up to the ceiling. And again, let's circle the ankle. You can circle your wrist too if you like. And then bend that right knee and just find some circles so you get into the hip joint, kind of moving the femur bone around in its ball and socket. Your left leg can be long or it can stay bent. And then circle that right leg the opposite direction. If it's comfortable, you can even hold on to a foot with your hand or find sort of a rock the baby on your back. Just finding some movement for the joint. It's a little bit of extra credit. Once we've opened the fascia around the joint, then moving the joint, getting some fluid into the joint. Good. Let's set the right foot onto the floor and let's hug the left knee into the chest. You can circle the ankle if you like. And then we'll send the left leg up to the ceiling. Again, you can circle the ankle and the wrist if you choose. And then point and flex. You notice that's more muscular than in the joints. Keep that left foot in a flexion and then bring that ankle right above, maybe to the outside of your right thigh. All of those options for this side as well. Foot on the floor, foot on a prop, or maybe gathering your legs in closer to your torso, maybe using a blanket as a little bit of a weight to hold them, or using your arms. Let's take a cleansing breath to settle in here. Inhale through the nose. Slow exhale through the mouth. And soften and release into your supine pigeon. Relax the jaw, soften your eyes. Eyes can be closed, but just soften your eyeballs into their sockets. And just be having an awareness of any effects you're feeling right now as you're in the pose. Listen to your body, listen to those signals. Plenty of time to be in the pose. Keep with yourself. And let's begin a transition out of the supine pigeon. If you have a blanket over you, remove it. If your right foot is off the floor, bring it back down. And then we'll send the left leg to the ceiling, and again, circle the ankle and the wrist, point and flex. And then you can bend the left leg and begin to find some circles. Your right foot can stay on the floor, maybe you lengthen that leg out. We want to get a little deeper, some movement into the hip joint here. Circling both directions. You can also hold the foot, maybe even coming into a rock the baby with your arms. Just finding some motion, some movement for that hip joint. Let's bring both knees in toward the chest, and then let's extend both legs to the ceiling. This time we're going to bend the knees and find a happy baby pose. You can use a strap here if you have one available. You can put it over the balls of your feet. Otherwise, kind of reach for the outside of the feet. Invite the knees to come down toward the armpits, and then send your tailbone toward the floor. Really intently press your tailbone, and you'll notice it gives you a nice stretch in your low back. Let's come into stillness in this happy baby. Take all the attention out of the shoulders and the arms and the face. Maybe there's just a little guidance with your hand to send those knees a little deeper. And every once in a while, if you'd like a little extra stretch, press your tailbone toward the floor. Otherwise, keep in stillness and keep softening into your body. Make sure you're breathing nice and evenly, letting your body breathe as it chooses. Now let's begin to just rock the happy baby side to side. A little bit of rocking on your sacrum, maybe pumping one knee down and then the other, finding some movement. Maybe you'd like to extend one leg long, the other one stays in the half happy baby, and maybe you switch. You might take both legs long out to the sides. Just find a little movement here, either staying in the happy baby or letting it be released. And bring the legs up to the ceiling, and let's just point and flex the feet again. This time we're going to take our hands and just mindfully guide, have the feet flexed, guiding both legs in toward the torso. Keep your back body on the mat, and we'll just invite a deep stretch along the hamstring, along the back of the legs. Point the toes, and then flex your feet and notice the difference. Just continuing to guide those legs in. Good, release, bend the knees into the chest. Bring your arms out into a T. Move your hips just a few inches to the right, and let your knees drop to the left. Maybe turn your head to the right. Just coming into a supine twist. We'll be here for just a few breaths. You could set your knees on a prop, help support you, or you can have them all the way out to the floor. Just make sure you're not holding them. Let them could be held by the floor or relax your jaws. Soften your face. Your head back to center. And then either plant your feet and lift your knees or just lift your knees back to center. We'll shift our hips slightly to the left. And now we let our knees come down to the right. Moving a prop to support them or letting them come to the floor. Adjusting your arms so your shoulder blades are on the floor. And maybe your head turns to the left. And just relax into this twist. Bring your head back to center. Bring your knees back to center. And let's find some circles on the sacrum. Just moving the knees to give your back body a little massage. And then moving them the opposite direction. Hug the knees in nice and tight. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, lift your nose up to your knees, opening up between the shoulders and the low back. The upper back. Let your body come back down onto your mat, and maybe you just lengthen your body out into Shavasana, corpse pose. Or you might find some props or your favorite restorative pose to finish our practice. You're welcome to take your legs up a wall, making sure you're fully supported. You're welcome to fold your body over a bolster and a heart opener. Place your knees over a bolster. Wherever you would like to find your rest. If you have a weight, it can go over your front hips. Arms to the sides with the palms up or on your body, resting however you choose. And once you get nice and comfortable, let's take a cleansing breath to just, with the exhale, to just sink into your pose. So inhale long and deep. Exhale completely through the mouth, slow and mindful. You're welcome to take a second cleansing breath if you choose, allowing that exhale to just soften your whole body. Releasing all muscle engagement, releasing any effort. Perhaps calling back your intention or your heart's desire if you brought something in to yourself for your practice. Allowing your whole body to be heavy, connecting with the weight of your body, your cells, the tissues, the bones. Let it all be heavy and soft. You know that you're safe, you're supported. Just allow yourself to rest. We rest to restore our energy. It's our vital life sap, and it's a beautiful word I love to say called ojas, O-J-A-S. You're restoring your ojas, so just rest and be in your experience. You have a few more minutes here, so just really allow yourself to completely rest. I'm just here to remind you. If you choose, you may stay and rest longer. You're practicing in your home or in a comfortable place. You know your schedule. If you're coming out of practice with me, then you can listen to my voice. See yourself in your mind's eye, just as you are right now, resting peacefully, inviting your body to restore ojas, energy. See yourself from the very top of your head to the tips of your toes. And then begin to breathe a little longer and deeper, inviting that life force to move through your body a little bit bigger way. Take some control, breathing in and out through the nose. Begin to find some gentle movement to just wake up your body from this rest. However it makes sense to you, you might circle joints or point and flex. Maybe you're sending all your limbs to the ceiling and just shaking them out, inviting energy to move through. You might take a full body stretch, really reaching fingertips one direction, toes the other direction. And then a cross body stretch. Those are my favorite. Reaching the right arm and left leg and feeling right diagonally across the torso, and then reaching the opposite arm and leg. Take a few more breaths to find what you need. And then make your way into the fetal position. Outstretch your bottom arm so you can rest your head. And just take sort of an inventory of yourself. What has shifted during practice? What's the state of your mind? Is it different than when you first came to your mat? Do you notice anything in your physical self? Anything anywhere, your emotions? Just notice and see if you can find any effects from your practice. And don't worry if you can't, because practice is within you. Often when we practice yin, we might not feel immediate effects, but with continued practice over time, you will probably feel some very amazing results. So use your hands and take an inhale to come all the way up to a seat. And let's bring our hands into prayer pose, Anjali Mudra, right at the heart center. Touching, lifting our sternum to our thumbs. Honor yourself for coming to practice Honor yourself for going through the practice. And I am grateful that I'm here at Perennial teaching live to some of you and recording this session that some of you are watching. I'm ever grateful to have this opportunity to share these beautiful teachings of yoga and Ayurveda. So thank you for that opportunity. Have a beautiful rest of your day or evening. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.